But I gotta say, probably my favorite thing to do for drinking, especially here, is tailgating. You guys like to tailgate? Absolutely. Penn's not so much. The Pirates, 20 years, we'll get it. We'll get there. We're gonna get a winning season. All we want to do, we want the Pirates to finish 500. That's it. Win half your games, and we will throw you a fucking parade. Have you seen them? When they hit 500, they're in first place for like a week. We're like the goddamn people in Whoville. We're holding hands outside, and we're in festivals. They're 500. They're not even good. They're in like third place, and we're running around like assholes like they won the whole thing. Yeah, tailgating gets out of control, man. Especially when you go to Steeler games. It's a lot of like older people. Like, I guess they don't leave the house a whole lot. I've almost gotten like 5 fights with like 65-year-old women. I'll fuck a 65-year-old woman up. I'm here to tell you. But, people like to drink at the events, but I would like to have Steeler parties. I really would. But what people don't realize is when we're at Steeler parties and the Steelers win, we're pretty nice. We're great to be around. But if they lose, we turn into the most rotten bastards of people ever. And someone was nice enough to have you in their home. In their home, and you sit there and you watch the game, and you're having a blast, and everything's great. And they welcomed you into the house. I mean, they had you in your house, which you just basically tore up, okay? And if they win, people stay and help clean up, and people are talking to each other. I'll see you tomorrow. I mean, everything's great. But if they lose, I feel so horrible for whoever has me over, or any of us. Because you just get in like the most rotten moods, especially if it's like the last play. Like my friend like Bill had a party or something. And it came down like the last play. And I mean, we were really into the game. And it was like a 3-yard run. We just needed like Mendenhall to get in the end zone or whatever. And we were waiting, and we were like, shit, he didn't get in. Fuck it, let's go. Everybody, let's go. Everybody get in the car. Let's go. Don't you help clean up. Let's go. No. Where are the kids at? I don't give a shit. Leave them here. I don't care. Thank Bill? Yeah, I'll thank Bill. Hey, Bill, thanks for having us. Guess what? Beer was warm. Food was cold. Your kids are ugly. Your wife's a slut. Fuck you. You can keep my crock pot. It's bullshit. I have a segment, and I'm going to work on it, and we'll see how it goes. It's called Times I Disappointed My Dad. You guys want to hear it? Yeah. All right. Times I Disappointed My Dad. Okay, because I have a... yeah, these are actually... All right, so anyway... It's different like when you disappoint your dad now, like, because you're older, and it's just like, hey, you know what you want to do? You just want to, like, your dad wants you to, like, be safe and, like, not be an asshole. That's pretty much always looking for me to do right now. It's not go to jail again, just, like, just be nice or whatever. But when you're younger, there's definitely times where, like, he sits around, and I'm sure was, like, talking to my mom, and they were like, we got to figure this thing out with Brian. Like, it's starting to scare me. I don't know why he's doing this or, whatever. So there's definitely, I think there were times. So I remember the one time and this is just like things he thinks he probably could have worked on to fix the situation. So I remember one time I was 7 or 8, and I was in first grade, and I went to a grade school in Homestead that closed. It was a little Catholic grade school. But every week we would have like a event or like a sporting event that we would try to win. And we didn't realize what it was at the time. They would just, they were trying to get first, second, and third place. But as a kid, you don't really realize that. All I knew was they gave a blue envelope to the person in first place. They gave a red one to the person in second and green in third. And my goal was I really wanted to get this blue envelope to make my dad happy. Okay? And they gave you a certificate. My mom was like, whatever it is, but your mother loves you for whatever. So I could have did anything. So she would like put it on the fridge, and she would tell me that. And I knew a place that I was going to put it for my dad. And every week after week, it was like football. He'd take me in the backyard, and I would try to throw the ball, and then I would go in, and I wouldn't win. Then it was basketball, and I was trying to shoot, the most foul shots, and again, it didn't happen. So then finally, folks, one week, I won. And I'm talking, I won. I blew the fucking competition away, okay? Dominated. So I get the blue little envelope, and I'm so proud. I can't wait to take this home to give it to my dad. And they gave me a certificate. And I gave that to my mom, and she put it on the fridge. She was calling everybody, and she was just so happy for me. So I remember I go home, and I put the blue envelope on my dad's keys. And I did really well, and I was very proud of myself. And I was picturing him, like, getting it and giving me a big hug and, like, jumping up and down. And he came in, and he just, like, looked at it. He just like put it down. He kind of just like walked away. This is when you guys go, oh, okay, yeah, so thank you. So there was none of that. So he kind of walked away, and I knew my mom was proud, and she walked over, and I was like, Mom, I don't understand why was Dad not, proud at me. She was like, because you came in first place in double Dutch. That was my week, folks, double Dutch. I'm fucking comically good at double Dutch, so if it wasn't a slap in my dad's face enough that I was good at 1 jump rope, I was good at 2 jump ropes. And I'm talking, my ass was good, too. I was doing all the moves and shit. I was hitting the ground, smacking my ass. I was doing K-A-S-S-I-N-G in the tree. They were like, along came Paul, kiss Brian on the cheek. I'm like, Paul, kiss me on the cheek. He was like, I don't want to. I'm like, Paul, play ball with me. Come on. He wouldn't do it. After about the 3rd week, Paul's parents called, like, please have Brian to quit asking Paul to kiss him on the cheek with this whole jump rope fad he's in. It's getting a little bit, nuts for us. And you know what? I didn't realize it then, but now my dad should be proud. You know how tough it is to beat little black 7-year-old girls in double Dutch? They own that shit. They have them like Harlem now and stuff. You ever watch it? It's like black girls and Asians. Asians got real good at like jumping over the last couple years and making out at parties. Yeah, shit. I was pumped. If somebody should have betted on me in Vegas, I would have won a lot of money for somebody, because I was probably going off like 5,000 to 1 odds. Little white chubby dude in Homestead, yeah, beat Lakeisha, LaToya, Shonda, and then Brian Linsenbigler, yeah. Folks, I'm not bullshitting you. I have a college degree in international business. I have no idea where that's at. I have the certificate hermetically sealed at my parents' house. That's how still proud I am of this. I did try to play sports. I did. I tried to play t-ball for a while because my dad wanted me to. And I wasn't very good. I wasn't. And my dad would have this like ritual with me where like he would come to my games, but he would never go to the game. Like he would always sit in his car out in right field. And I would always think he's out there because he wants to catch all my home runs. Like he never sat with my like other parents and shit. I don't know. I'm a dumb kid. But I'm not kidding. I used to strike. He would always. I'm telling you, he'd always be in right field. He'd always be sitting in the car. And I used to strike out on the tee a lot, which the ball doesn't move. We know this. But I was that bad that they would give me, forced swings, and then finally they had to just go, okay, you got to go back to the dugout. But I'll never forget the one time I swung, and on the last one I swung, I missed it. I fell to the ground, I started crying. I heard a car start. That's Dad. There were more Amber Alerts that year for me probably than any year ever given for any kid who ever got left somewhere. Eventually, like the West Homestead police just had my baseball schedule on their desk, and they were just like, no, he had a game again. That kid's he's terrible. Jesus. Struck out again? Wow. I remember, and it was probably a couple years later, speaking of the Pirates, 1992 was a big year for us. That was the last time we were good. And I'll never forget, my dad had lost his job. We didn't have a whole lot of money, and I remember he got this job, and it was in sales. And I remember, he just, busted his ass to get us tickets. They were in the playoffs. They were playing the Braves. And, he really, I just know he just, worked his ass off. He, hit some incentives. He hit all these goals. And, I remember how proud he was that he got to take us to the game. And me, my sister, my mom, my dad went. But unfortunately, 2 days before this happened, I got, really sick. So the rule was that if I didn't go to school, I really couldn't go to anything. But, of course, it was that day that, my dad had got the tickets. Mom was like, we'll see how you feel. And then, 2 days later, I was still sick. I missed school, but they took me to the game anyway. So I'm like, this is awesome. I'm going down with my family. We're getting ready to go watch this. They're down 2-0. This is game 3. This is the first one at Three Rivers Stadium. And I remember it was the best experience for me that I went down there, and I just remember how happy my dad was that we were there. And the game was good. I'm not bullshitting you folks. It was I think it was 2-2, and the Pirates end up winning that game 3-2. Okay, 3-2 because in the bottom of the seventh they hit a home run. They end up winning the game 3-2. Okay, and we never got to see that because in the middle of the seventh inning, I decided to shit my pants.